I don't know about you guys, but I am sick and tired of all the corruption within the FBI. And in today's broadcast, I'm just going to expose that things have not gotten better. In fact, the weaponization of organizations like the FBI and Department of Justice have gotten way worse. In fact, they are even calling for not only infiltrators to go inside the Catholic Church, as you're going to see in just a moment, but they've also published a dossier saying if you say things like red pill or Chad or look smacking or even Stacy, just internet slang kind of stuff, then you can be considered an extremist. And notice notice all their lingo is always targeted at one political side. Anything center of right. I am tired of it. We are really heading in. We aren't heading. We already are in some really bad territory. And if we don't start doing things like disbanding and defunding the FBI, completely revamping it all, then you and I are in a whole heck of a lot of trouble in the near future. And we're talking about the straight up rise of a communist regime, kind of like we've seen in history's past from some of these tyrannical dictators, right? But let's start first with what the FBI has done most recently. Take a look here. And this is on FoxNews.com. FBI document associates internet slang like based and red pill with extremism. New documents released on Monday warned that common internet lingo is being associated with violent extremism by the FBI. The Heritage Foundation's oversight project said it used a Freedom of Information Act request to expose FBI documents that include glossaries showing that common internet slang has been flagged as an indication of involuntary celibate violent extremism or racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. Now, let me take you to the actual document itself that came out and was released so you guys can get this straight from the FBI's own mouth. Take a look here. And this is the document here, and it's titled Involuntary Celibate Violent Extremism. And here's what it says about the threat overview. Involuntary celibate violent extremists, which they're calling IVEs, are involuntary celibates or incels who seek to commit violence in support of their belief that society unjustly denies them sexual or romantic attention, in which they believe they are entitled. The incel community is primarily an online community composed of individuals, most of who are men, who blame political or social movements such as feminism for empowering others to deny them romantic or sexual attention. While most incels do not engage in violence, there you go, most of them don't engage in violence, IVEs have conducted at least 5 lethal attacks in the U.S. and in Canada since 2014, resulting in 28 deaths. In online posts advocating for violence, IVEs often glorify previous IVE attackers, including founding fathers Elliot Rodger, who killed 6 individuals in California in 2014, as well as school shooters, including those who have no connection to incel forums or IVE ideology. Let me just pause right here for 1 minute, because here they are writing an entire document about this particular group who have committed 5 crimes since 2014. I know a lot more radical organizations who have done a lot worse things than that, but yet here they are focusing on this. But then it gets into a little bit more interesting detail because the verbiage that they explain later, that is in connection to these kinds of groups, just so happen to be the lingo that you would have if you were, a Republican, a conservative, or a libertarian, right? So if you scroll down just a little bit, here's some of the terms that they're using. And you can see one of the terms at the top says Chad. Now, if you don't know what Chad actually means, it's slang for, a very attractive, strong male who is successful with women. Handsome dude. He's got women flocking to him. That's a Chad, right? So in this case, the FBI is saying that this is a race-specific term used to describe idealized version of a male who is very successful at gaining sexual and romantic attention from women. So for that, you could be a potential terrorist. God forbid you use the word Chad. Not just Chad. If you go down a little bit, you can see the word look smacking, right? This is basically what that is. If you don't know, it's slang for self-improvement. You want yourself to look better and be more attractive. So because you want to be more attractive and look better, apparently that's another sign of extremism. But they don't really tell you why that's an extremist thing, but there you have it. You can also see red pill, blue pill here. These are often terms used by those on the right. And we know red pill was taken from the movie The Matrix. And we know that to mean, well, we're uncovering hidden truth. That's what red pill means, right? You're going to uncover something that's not known. But according to the FBI, if you bring up the red pill, well, that means that you can be racist, anti-Semitic, or fascist. According to this here, it says red pill refers to a belief shared by many online communities that society is corrupt, that the believer is a victim of this corruption. Black pill, which is specific to incels, refers to a belief that is corrupt and can only be changed through massive restructuring, and on and on and on. And then we have Stacy. Stacy's the opposite of Chad. Stacy is just basically a confident, sexually attractive female. But according to the FBI, you are some kind of misogynist. It's some kind of misogynistic kind of term, and you could be considered a terrorist. But let's go down a little more here. Some racially or ethnically motivated violent extremist literature that they're showing there. And you scroll down a little bit more, and then you also see the words alt-right. Of course, alt-right. We know that term. And based. There's base there. Now, base basically means something that is agreeable or cool or generally considered to be anti-woke. It's a slang term. But according to the FBI, it's a word that means that somebody has been converted to some kind of racist ideology. This is just slang stuff, and there's red pill again down there as well. But that's the entire document in its shell, the whole thing. But I mean, what on earth is wrong with an entire organization who is literally dedicated to things like words, slang words that are being used on the internet, and saying that could put you as a potential terrorist. Now, if we put that in conjunction with everything else the FBI has been at lately, then we know that this is a politically directed, weaponized agency by the Democrat Party. It's a weaponized agency. Let me rephrase that. It's an agency that has been weaponized by the Democrats and those on the far left to go after their political opposition. This is just insane. Speaking of political opposition, you know who else would be in their political opposition? How about Christians and Catholics? Take a look at this bombshell that literally just came out. FBI sought to develop sources in Catholic churches to combat domestic terrorism, documents show. And this is on Fox News, by the way, but the article goes on to state this. The internal documents obtained last month by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson, who are also members of the so-called weaponization subcommittee, showed the FBI plan to use churches as new avenues for tripwire and source development. The federal law enforcement agency also aimed to specifically target mainline Catholic parishes as part of its effort. In addition, according to Jordan, the FBI exposed interest in leveraging existing sources and or initiating Type 5 assessments to develop new sources with the placement and access. And in another example, the agency cited a desire to sensitize religious congregations, quote, to the warning signs of radicalization and enlist their assistance to serve as suspicious activity tripwires. Based on the limited information produced by the FBI to the committee, we know that the FBI relied on at least one undercover agent to produce this analysis, and that the FBI proposed that its agents engage in outreach to Catholic parishes to develop sources among the clergy and church leadership to inform on Americans practicing their faith. Jordan wrote in a letter to the FBI director, Christopher Wray, on Monday. Dun, dun, dun. So here we have the FBI literally wanting to and encouraging and trying to infiltrate churches, get people inside the church, tap wires, the whole 9 yards, to tell on other people within the church. You know, in case they say things like Chad or Stacy or alt-right or red pill. God forbid they're a Trump supporter on top of that, or a Christian. Wow. That's a little strange. Kind of sounds like something that I talked about a long time ago. Oh yeah, the clergy response teams. You want more information on all of that? You guys got to get to Restricted Republic. It's just that simple. But look, this is terrifying. You know, it's kind of like what's going on in communist China right now. They have infiltrators and insiders inside these Christian churches, and they're literally told they have to report on their citizens. Now the FBI is doing that in the United States of America, at the same time printing documents that have slang that could be used by anyone and anybody on the right. Seems a bit weird. Hey, you know what else seems weird is the fact that the FBI has already purged many conservatives from their rank. How about the fact that they also are not paying as much attention on, you know, things like pedophilia and things they should be going after, or how about, you know, all the crime that has exploded as a result of the fentanyl and all of that? Nope, let's turn a blind eye and focus on January 6ers, people who were just walking outside the Capitol. To the extreme. Oh, hey, go after those MAGA supporters. There is so much corruption. We really have to keep this at a front and center. I am livid, but here we have them trying to infiltrate churches as well. This doesn't happen in free countries, folks. Anyhow, I love you all. Please check out my partner and sponsor, if you have not yet, at Lisa Haven Gold, Noble Gold Investments. Look, if you haven't gotten a 401k, now is the time, because we have all these banking crises. We have the oil crisis right now. We have BRICS looking to, not trade in the dollar anymore. So please make sure you are diversified. I purposely sponsored with them to help you with that before the crap so-called hits the fan. Fill out this information and get your free Ultimate Gold Guide. Hit that Get That Now button. Or give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. Let them know Lisa Haven sent you. But just talk to one of their no-hassle experts. And by the way, they are giving away this 5-ounce silver coin that you see on the screen here with any approved plan. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.